Hey guys, it's Big Kevin 112 here. I was getting a couple questions on how to set up permissions. Um, well, first of all, the reason why you should run a permissions plugin is because if you're trying to set it up, your server up where you have multiple plugins and only only ops can do certain commands and stuff, like it's easier to set it up with the permissions plugin because all the permissions are you can control who can and can't use the permission, and it's all centralized in one place, in one file. Permission, like it's in your permissions file. Um, I recommend to use a plugins or a permissions plugin because it makes easier to run your server and configure it the way you want it. Now you can use the permissions that Bukkit comes with. Um, I personally, whenever I started a server, I started off using PermissionsEx, and so I'm used to it. I'm pretty sure the permissions that Bukkit comes with is a little bit different. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. I haven't tried to use it. Um, I just go with what works and what I know. I'm going to show you how to not configure, but set up permissions for multiple plugins, WorldGuard, WorldEdit, um, the modified world, which is part of Essentials. It makes it where you can have, like, if a guest comes in, you can make it where they can chat, but that's all they can do. They can't TP, they can't place blocks, break blocks, so the guest comes on whenever you're not on or an admin's on, they can't run around griefing. So it's very helpful with that. Now, the reason why there's two permissions.jars is this is the main one, PermissionsEx. The second permissions one is some plugins. It helps hook those other plugins into where it can use the PermissionsEx, because not all plugins are able to use PermissionsEx, so this just kind of like ties it in so it can, because some of them don't support. I know there's a few, can't really think of any off the top of my head, but it just helps. So always keep these together. So to get started is first you want to download PermissionsEx. Just go to Bukkit Dev and type in PermissionsEx, download it. The next is you want to get, for whatever plugins you have, you want to get the permission nodes, which are icons. Essentials, it's on command permissions. On WorldEdit, it is where you read the WorldEdit wiki, and then you go to permissions, and then you go to main permissions. Then on WorldGuard, it's the same way. WorldGuard wiki, scroll down, list of permissions. Okay. So with modified world, it makes it where you can configure different things. I will show you that now. Okay. So basically, actually, you can just go through this, read this stuff. It's not that hard. On my server that I run, I have it where they can chat, and that's about all I can do. If you want them to be able to place and break blocks, then you would add those ones. If you want them to pick up items, it's really up to you. So let's see. First off, after you find out the command or your permission notes, you want to go into your server plugins, the PermissionsEx. If that's not there, go ahead and just want to start up your server, and it'll load the big files and the permissions.yml. Now yours isn't going to look like this. I already started this just so I'm not having to type everything out. These are the ranks that are on what I run on my server. I have guest, builder 1, builder 2, advanced builder, mod, admin, and owner. The first is default. This one's set to true. You set it to. You can change these names. You don't have to keep them as guest or build 1, build 2. You don't have to keep it that way. It's totally up to you how you want to set up your server. And before I go any further, I recommend to use Notepad++ if you're on Windows. Don't use the regular Notepad that Windows comes with. It doesn't work very well. And if you're using Notepad++, make sure that you go into your settings, preferences, language menu / tab settings, and make sure that it says tab size 4 replaced by space. So whenever you hit the tab button, like I did here, that is a tab. It replaces it with 4 spaces. This makes it easier so you don't have to hit the spacebar 4 times. You just hit the tab once, it adds those 4 spaces for you. If you do not do that, when you hit tab, your permissions will not work. It will not be able to read this. You'll get an error in the server. So make sure you check mark that. Okay. So after that, you want to set whatever group you want set as default. All your permissions will go right here. The options is for the ranking. Because with PermissionsEx, you type in to promote somebody, you do /ex promote and then the username. Promote them up to from like guest to build 1. And the same thing if you want to demote them. It's the same thing. Instead of promote, you do demote. The rank ladder, the higher the number, the lower their rank. So guest starts out 1,000, build 1 goes to 800, build 2 750. These numbers aren't very important. You can set them to 2,000, 1,200. It doesn't matter as long as they go down in order. So larger, smaller, 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 and then smallest. So owner is obviously the highest rank, so you want that to be the smallest number. Okay, so on guest, these are just, you set up the server the way you want it. Let's say I only want them to be able to chat and log in. So you find those permission nodes, copy it, or you can even type it out, whichever you prefer. Underneath permissions, you press the dash, space, excuse me. You can either copy it or type it out. I recommend just to copy it, it's easier. And then press enter and do that same thing. Copy, paste. So now this group can log in and they'll be able to chat. Nothing else. Now, build 1 can also do the same thing. The inheritance works the way by whatever their inheritance is, which you specify, is they'll inherit these permissions. So if build 1, I want them to be able to modify anything. Like I want them to be able to break locks, chat, use beds, anything like that. So I'm just going to put the wild card in. So it means that everything that's modified world, and then everything that's after it, after the period, they will get. So which, in this case, everything that's with modified world. Now, build 2 will inherit what build 1 has. These permissions and these permissions. It goes down. So build 2, or advanced builder would inherit build 2, build 1, and guest. So on and so forth. So that's why, setup, if you want to use modified world, you don't have to, certainly. I like it just because I want to be able to control when a guest comes in. They won't be able to build. They can look around. They can read the rules, everything. They can't do anything. They can chat with people. They can't do anything more than that. Okay. So with essentials, you really just do the same thing. There's a bunch of commands that I've set up. It's really up to you how you want to set it up. On our server, people can't just TP to each other out of random. It's kind of annoying because if you're by lava or something, someone TPs to you and it knocks you in. So we have it where it's set up to where they have to send a request, which is TPA. They have to send a request to somebody and then they have to either accept it or deny it. So if you want it set up that way, you need to have it where they can send the request. So let's just do this. Build 1, I want everybody that's past build 1, they can TP, they can send a request, they can accept it, or they can deny it. That's how it is set up on my server. Just depends on how you want to do it. Also, another thing, under teleport, you can have it where I usually have it where they can do /spawn the guest. So if they get away from spawn, they can go back to spawn easily. Well, with it, pretty much every plugin is going to be, actually every plugin is going to be the same way. They all have permission nodes. Most of them have permission nodes. Newer ones that have just been released sometimes don't have permissions. Sometimes don't even have permission nodes, but most plugins are going to have permissions with permission nodes. So all you do is, copy them and put them wherever you want. It is completely up to you. Same thing with WorldGuard. Let's see. Now once you're done, you can save it, close out of that, and run your server. And run it and make sure you don't get any errors. Now if you do, then all you have to do is, it usually tells you with it why it can't read it, but just read it, figure out what's wrong. So if you want, make sure there is a space between here and your users. There should be a big space right between it. If you don't, you will get an error, because you will get an error, and I'll show you one of the errors of what you can get. At least it gave me an error last time. Didn't this time, not really sure why, but yep. Now with your users, you'll have a user. Every time someone joins in, their name will be added to this, and the group will obviously say whatever your default one is, which would be, in my case, guest. Now, if you want to set just a permission to a certain person, like I'm going to set just, let's see, Fireball. So, in order to set that to them, just do the same thing. You just have the username, it'll tell you what group they're in, and then underneath that, put permissions, and whatever permission I want, with the dash, space, then the permission. Now that on that person, that will be the only, like, there'll be only one, like, say that's the only permission I set to them. No one else can use it. Like, I never set it for mod or anybody else. I only set it for myself. I will be the only one that can use it. No one else can. So if you want to give a privilege to one of your users, that is the way you can do it, where it's only for them, not for a group. So this is only set for just that user, not the group. If you want it for the group, you need to add it to the permissions for that group. Okay, so that's pretty much it with it. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions or have any problems with setting it up or getting some error messages, just let me know. I can. I've ran the server for a little while now, for almost a year. I've seen a lot of errors. I can usually figure them out, but I can't guarantee I can. But I will for sure try and help people. If there's any plugins that you want to see how to configure, like if you want to see how to configure WorldGuard. Oh, and by the way, it's about to die. Anyways, if you want to use WorldGuard, you have to have WorldEdit. Otherwise, it won't work. It'll give you an error saying you need to download WorldEdit. So if you want to see how to set up WorldGuard, how to use it, how to configure it with everything, like how to make it where people can't use TNT in your server at all, where they can't use, it'll notify an admin if they use a lava bucket, water bucket, anything like that. Just let me know. I'll try and post some videos on how to set it up, how to configure things, and that's all I got for you today. Stay tuned for more episodes. Also check out the rest of my videos on my channel. Some gameplay of some Battlefield and some other stuff. Alright, have a good day. Let me know if you need any more help. Please rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.